They called him the architect of hip-hop's Champagne era. Now prosecutors say Sean Diddy Combs spent 20 years building something darker than any nightclub he ever owned. On May 12, 2025, inside Manhattan's federal courthouse, opening statements blasted the room like dueling sound systems. The government painted Diddy as the mastermind of a globe-spanning racket, kidnapping, hush money bribes, laced freakoff parties, while the defense insisted it's just messy love, jealousy, and sky-high paydays gone sour. If the jury buys the RICO blueprint, the music mogul who once ruled Bad Boy could trade penthouses for prison walls for life. But if he's merely a flawed superstar with indulgent taste, the case collapses. Stick around, the next 8 weeks may rewrite hip-hop history. From the sidewalk outside Uptown Records to Forbes' billion-dollar lists, Sean Combs built a legend on pure audacity. Fans saw a relentless dreamer, the Harlem intern who hustled remixes, launched Bad Boy Records, then parlayed platinum tracks into Ciroc vodka, fashion lines, and a media empire. But prosecutors insist another ledger ran parallel, one not tallied in chart positions or champagne sales, but in secret cash drops, burner phones, and late-night texts ordering extra lube and 2 athletes ASAP. They argue every convoy of SUVs, every chartered jet, every entourage paycheck fed a single purpose: keep the boss's appetite satisfied and his secrets buried. Under the racketeering statute, that mosaic matters more than any isolated blow-up or bribe. String enough of those moments together: an alleged balcony threat in Miami, a torched car in Jersey, a brown paper bag payoff at a Los Angeles hotel, and you have what the government calls Combs Enterprise, a criminal choreography hiding in plain sight behind the glitz. The prize for prosecutors is massive. Prove the pattern, and they can hand the architect of hip-hop's golden age a life sentence. Fail, and the entire case collapses into tabloid gossip. But the jury hasn't heard the most explosive tiles in that mosaic yet, and the first one is a name you already know: Cassie Ventura. Cassie Ventura was only 19, one-hit single, a sky-high dream, and a mentor who promised to polish her into the next R&B icon. Instead, prosecutors say she became the template for Diddy's darkest appetites. The romance began with penthouse studio sessions and red carpet flashes. It soon twisted into weekly freak-off nights where Cassie, dosed on little blue pills she could barely pronounce, was ordered to perform with hired strangers while Combs filmed every second. Whenever she hesitated, violence followed. In 2016, hotel security cameras captured him yanking her by a hoodie, stomping her in the corridor, then, according to prosecutors, slipping the guard a brown paper bag stuffed with $100K to erase the tape. With her second album shelved and her finances tethered to Bad Boy's payroll, Cassie's exit doors kept vanishing. She vanished herself for a week in a downtown LA hotel, hiding bruises prosecutors will soon display to the jury. Yet she stayed, because the man holding the camera also held her career, her unreleased music, and the threat of leaked footage that could derail any future. But Cassie's story, prosecutors warned, wasn't an isolated headline. It was a blueprint repeated again and again. Next up on the witness roster, a single mother they call Jane Doe, who claims the same script hit replay 4 years later with even higher stakes. Prosecutors say Combs didn't need a code name or a ledger. He had an inner circle trained to read a whisper like a fire drill, a late-night text, Miami 2, arrive 1 a.m., set a chain reaction in motion. The chief of staff booked the penthouse under a shell LLC. The travel manager ordered a Gulfstream on 30 minutes notice, and a junior assistant lugged a duffel of ecstasy capsules, rose-tinted bulbs, and high-def camcorders through a side entrance. Bodyguards doubled as lookout and cleanup crew. Drivers burned through burner phones and deleted GPS logs as soon as wheels stopped. Need extra pressure? A security guard's silence cost exactly $100,000 in a plain grocery bag. A disgruntled rival found his car flaming curbside. Anyone teetering on disobedience faced a balcony ledge and a choice. Staffers were rewarded with watches, condos, and promises of executive titles, perks that kept them spinning the gears long after normal fatigue should have blown the engine. In the government's telling, this wasn't spontaneity. It was choreography so polished, it made the chaos look effortless. And that choreography produced paper, flight manifests, hotel folios, encrypted chat logs that agents claim can pin every drug drop and hush payment to the man at the top. Those receipts are headed for the evidence screen next, unless the defense can knock them out first. When it was finally their turn, Diddy's lawyers didn't flinch. Lead counsel Tenny Guros strode to the lectern, flashed a quick smile, and sliced straight through the prosecution's RICO tapestry. Sean Combs is guilty of many things: bad breakups, volcanic jealousy, a taste for lavish thrills. But organized crime? Not a chance. They framed the entire case as tabloid heartbreak weaponized by envy and cash. Cassie's $30 million demand, 11 years of jet setting and studio time, then a civil lawyer and a dollar figure the size of a lottery jackpot. Jane's fight for first-place girlfriend status. Private jets weren't enough. She wanted exclusivity, and when she didn't get it, the love story flipped to litigation. Employees with Ivy League resumes. According to the defense, these weren't henchmen. They were ambitious professionals who could have quit any day but chose the perks of the Combs orbit. Yes, Guros conceded, his client can be a A jerk, a liar, even violent when jealousy boils over. The hallway stomp? Indefensible, they admitted, but a lover's quarrel, not eggs trafficking. The hush money for hotel footage? Public relations damage control, the kind any billionaire might use to shield a brand. Paid escorts? Perfectly legal in states where it happened, they argued, likening it to a high-priced night at an adult film set. Most crucially, the defense insists there's no evidence of a conspiracy, no code words, profit splits, or chain of command. At worst, they say, this is messy, mutually toxic romance splashed across a courtroom projector. At best, it's the government trying to police a celebrity's bedroom because the headlines are irresistible. Their closing challenge to the jury was surgical. Don't let gossip masquerade as organized crime. Examine the receipts, weigh the motives, and ask who stands to walk away richer if you say guilty. The sworn stories are equally fragile. One bodyguard swears Combs dangled a rival over a Miami balcony until cross-examination unveils 3 earlier interviews where he never mentioned a balcony at all. An assistant cries, recounting a brown paper bag bribe but stumbles over which hotel floor it happened on. Tiny cracks, yet a dozen of them can shatter a case or a defense. For jurors, the question grows sharper. Are inconsistencies the fog of long-buried trauma or the smoke of rehearsed lies? Under RICO, prosecutors don't need every tile to fit perfectly. They need a picture that looks criminal when you step back. Defense must convince the same 12 people that even one key witness is chasing vengeance or viral fame, and the highest stakes witnesses haven't even taken the stand yet. Up next, a hotel guard with immunity, a rap star who claims his car was blown to pieces, and a forensics agent ready to unveil a hard drive folder ominously labeled freakoff vault. If those files survive the judge's scrutiny, the jury might see more than enough to connect all the dots, or watch the government's mosaic crumble in real time. The courtroom feels like it's ticking toward detonation. Any day now, the government will call a hotel security guard who pocketed that infamous $100K paper bag. His immunity deal ensures he can unload every detail without fear of self-incrimination. Right behind him sits Kid Cudi, ready to testify that his car exploded in his driveway weeks after a falling out with Combs. Prosecutors frame it as a warning shot straight from mafia lore, while the defense calls it a coincidence spun into myth. Then comes the forensic cavalry, a Homeland Security analyst prepared to project a seized hard drive titled freakoff vault onto the courtroom's jumbo screens. If the judge allows it, jurors could watch time-stamped clips that match Cassie's and Jane's timelines, visual answers to every he said, she said still lingering. And just when the air gets thick, a former private chef is slated to describe 36-hour shifts fueled by ecstasy-laced cocktails. He claims leftover pills were swept straight into the boss's medical bag alongside unregistered firearms. For the defense, these next witnesses are landmines. They've already subpoenaed an LAPD arson specialist to dispute the car bomb story, plus a metadata expert itching to challenge the hard drive's chain of custody. One glitch in a timestamp, one anonymous transfer of digital files, and the prosecution's smoking USB could vanish in a puff of reasonable doubt. But if even half of this evidence lands cleanly, the jury might not need perfect choreography to see a pattern. Either way, the coming week threatens to tip the entire trial and hip-hop history on its head. 8 weeks from now, 12 jurors will file back into that wood-paneled room and decide which headline survives the history books. If they see a web of coordinated bribes, beatdowns, and freak-off flights, Sean Combs could face decades, possibly life in federal custody, his entire catalog and billion-dollar brand frozen in civil forfeiture. Prosecutors would notch a landmark win, proving RICO can reach beyond mob families into the VIP suites of pop culture. If instead, the jury buys the defense's portrait, volatile romances, yes, but no criminal enterprise, Combs walks free, reclaiming his empire and setting a chilling precedent for future celebrity probes. Personal depravity alone can't anchor a racketeering case. Either outcome reverberates far beyond one courtroom. Record labels may rethink artist lifestyle budgets. Not or Me Too advocates will measure the ruling's ripple effect, and entertainment lawyers will revisit every NDA stuffed in a filing cabinet. The final stretch will be brutal. Closing arguments built to scorch, jury instructions thicker than a studio contract, and an anxious industry refreshing news alerts every 5 minutes. When the foreperson finally speaks, hip-hop's champagne architect will leave that courthouse either in cuffs or in a convoy of black Escalades. No middle ground left. Which narrative feels truer to you? Drop your verdict in the comments and stay tuned, because the next witness could flip the entire story before the gavel even drops.